This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Simply Superior studio here inside the A-Cup House on the Opry Plaza. Happy to be back. I had a map to get here this morning. I haven't been here in so long. I finally remembered.
Security remember you?
No. Man, who are you? We haven't seen you in a week. I'm happy to be back after Stagecoach. Charlie Matos, of course, holding down the front by yourself yesterday.
I have to admit, it was kind of fun because everybody left. You know, Bill's gone for a few days. You were traveling back.
Yep.
Annie and I's been coast to coast from Napa to
Jersey.
LaGuardia. Now back. So, yeah, it was just me yesterday.
And Jeff Roberts has a new baby at home. So, yeah, it's
He
been
does?
an adventure for everybody.
Yeah.
Choose your own adventure. Well, happy to be back. And we've got a lot to talk about. We are going to talk about Stagecoach, all the things that were happening there. Huge festival out in the desert. 3 days of country music and more. There was a lot of extra flavor to it this year. It's like people really love country, and I think now are becoming more country adjacent.
Okay.
So.
Do they have like an artsy section? You know, kind of like Bonnaroo has like a whole little area where, you know, there's like, you know, like a little marketplace area where like all the merch and like vendors are there, or like a little village kind of thing.
Yes and no. Yes, they do have an area like that, but it's all like big merchants.
Gotcha.
So like Hey Dude Shoes and Elf Cosmetics and T-Mobile phones and Shein like clothes, but it's not.
So not Kelly's homemade friendship bracelets. Okay, all right.
There's none of that. Not out there, honey. They're too close to LA. They're like, who's got money to come in here and put up their kind of activation? So yeah, we'll talk all about that. That's coming up in just a little bit. Plus, we mentioned it earlier and I still haven't paid this off. New flavor of Oreo coming, which makes me very excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Last time we tried Oreos, it was the Post Malone Oreos.
Right.
And they were fine.
I really liked them.
No,
You didn't like them as much as I did.
They were good. They were fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit. Plus, we're welcoming Jake Banfield in. I haven't met Jake yet, but he's going to be here on our Assembly Food Hall stage in just a little bit. And we're going to rewind to the stage of the Grand Ole Opry with Lauren Elena.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Yes, it is. Welcome in, sitting on the Assembly Food Hall stage. I just met him. Jake Banfield, it's good to see you.
Thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it.
You were West Coasting it for a while, too.
I was. We did a little bit of West Coast action last week, and yeah, good to be back.
What did you think? Was this first trip to Live in the Vineyard Ghost Country?
It was. So first trip to Live in the Vineyard and first time at Stage. It was my first festival I've ever even been to.
You were at Stagecoach?
I went.
I didn't see you.
Yeah, I did.
Of course, there were 100,000 people there. How did we miss each other?
I know. How did that happen? It's crazy how that worked.
I don't understand.
No, but it was a blast. So, but like I said, it's good to get back into routine and on the same time zone now that my brain's used to. But yeah, it was a great trip.
Well, let's talk a little bit about being in Napa for that event. For people that don't know, this is like, it's the dream, truly. It's country music live in vineyards all around Napa Valley. Had you been to Napa before?
Never.
Okay, isn't it the most stunning
It's
place?
gorgeous, and I think my dad and them are listening. We love red wine, just in general. So going there,
Sure.
Give me some.
And it's different because it has no sulfates in it, so you don't have a hangover.
I told you. I told everybody that.
It's completely different, and you don't understand until you're there, and you're like, oh. Well,
Thank you.
that's lovely. You would thrive, Charlie. You would thrive.
You caught my attention really fast.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
It's incredible.
It's like, how do these people drink at breakfast, lunch, and dinner and function?
Said
and
the same
that's
thing.
Yeah. So
that's it.
That's it.
Now
that's
I know.
Good.
Now I know.
Being from Oklahoma, when did the country music bug just settle in your bones?
As early as I can remember. I grew up, moved a lot, but I grew up in Eufaula, and Carrie Underwood's from Shakota. That's like the rival school. So I remember like listening to the radio as a kid, and it was like Carrie Underwood, Jesus Take the Wheel, all that. And it was from as early as I can remember listening to music. I think it's like it has to happen if you're from Oklahoma. It's just everywhere, and there's so many legends from there. It just right when you start listening to music, boom, you're into country. So yeah, it was early.
What were the rival? You said the rival high schools. So what were the mascots?
So the Wildcats.
Dakota Bobcats.
The Wildcats.
Okay, and what were you guys?
So I didn't go to Eufaula. It's where I kind of lived, but we were the Ironheads. So Ironheads and Wildcats. She wrote a song about it too. And
what's an Ironhead?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the strange one. Okay.
I don't know.
All
It's
right.
kind of Trojan looking. It's
Got it.
I think it's in that lane right there. So
Got
yeah, but so early. I remember.
Early.
Yeah. Very.
First time on stage. How old were you?
Oh, I would have been 21. So I got started late.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a sports guy like my whole life.
Well, basketball for years would have been the path, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first 19 years of my life, and like or 20. And my dad was a coach, grandpa, all my uncles were coaches. So music was never going to be the thing, and no one in my family really does music, so it was kind of odd. But yeah, I played college basketball and then got injured, got healthy to come back and play. Then we got sent into quarantine. So that was the end of my career, and it was sad, but it was God had a plan, and I just ran with it. And faith over fear. That's what it was.
ACL?
It was like a
knee?
meniscus all around. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was not fun. First time I really got injured like that too.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened. What was bad? It happened in the preseason. Not even. Before the season even started. Yeah. So it wasn't a great look for the coach. Offered me a scholarship, and now I'm like hurt. And then get healthy to come back and play. Boom, COVID, and it's just like. Man, so it was, like I said, it was sad, but...
well, you know, if you believe in signs, somebody's telling you maybe this isn't the path,
Boom.
right? Maybe this is the way you should go.
Absolutely. And God works in mysterious ways, so I didn't understand, but here we are. Yeah.
But you know the crazy thing about that, knowing how many hours and how much blood and sweat and tears you put into training for basketball, there had to be an identity crisis for a minute there. Like, because you allow that to define who you are, and then how do you have to take a step back and be like, that's not my identity?
So true. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to do with like life.
Yeah.
I seriously remember just being like, I don't know, but I know I can talk to a phone. I didn't know anyone in the music industry. I can talk to a phone and entertain, and I can write really bad music, but I can try to write it, and I can play 3 chords. And that's what I did during COVID. I just started doing music and putting it out on TikTok and Instagram. Just, it was not good, but you got to start somewhere.
So I have to ask you, on TikTok. Now, I was so excited one time. I posted something, 26,000 people liked it.
Come on now.
26,000.
Come on now.
What is 3.2 million liking something and watching it? I mean, it's like, are these people real, right?
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's wild. That platform is it's huge.
Yeah.
So I got it at prime time when everyone was at the house and kind of took advantage of it. And then, like you said, I put so much time into basketball. I still feel so behind, but I'm just like a sponge in the music industry now because I just got started 5 years ago. So yeah, just trying to get better every day.
Well, we've seen so many people that exactly same situation.
Yeah.
Warren Zeiders, and I think wasn't Parker McCollum. Like so many people that were in sports had an injury that ended their career early.
Yeah.
But the mentality of the grind, and here's what we're doing, and we're putting in the hours, and we're going to do the reps. It translates very easily to the music business.
I tell everybody that, like, the similarities of the music industry and sports is so similar, it's not even funny. So people would ask, my family, when I would go back to Thanksgiving or Christmas, like, what are you doing? How's it going? Is it tough? And I'm like, it's definitely, like I said, I felt a little behind because especially Nashville, everyone's so good. But you're right. If you just have like the mentality, the grind, like we're going to keep going and just try to get better. That's how I grew up. So it was kind of just instilled in me already. And I think that's so great point by you because I tell everybody that. It's so true.
Well, the one nice difference, though, is you're playing before 5,000 people. They're all wanting you to be good. At a basketball game, half the crowd wants you to miss that free throw, right? So you got half the people not liking
That
you.
is so true.
Everybody's on your side on this one already, right?
I hadn't thought about that.
There's no big head as
There's
you're playing.
not.
Screw the lyrics, man. Come on.
No, yeah. I remember like cowbells at 7 a.m. in like Texas. And I'm just like, dude, I just woke up 30 minutes ago. You should stop. But you're right. That is actually a great point.
That's so crazy. So what was the first song that took off? Like, what was the first one that when you woke up the next morning and you saw those numbers, you went, oh.
Yeah. It was actually this song called Hold Me. It's pretty old. It's like 2020, right when COVID happened. And like you said, I had an identity crisis. And that's what this whole song's about is I don't really know what to do with life next. And I'm just going to tell you how I feel. It's not the best written song, but I promise you it's a real song. It's as vulnerable as I can be. And I remember posting it. It's a sad song, but it was, like I said, it was real. Went to bed, woke up, boom. I'm like, wow. People are connecting. That was really cool. I was like, okay, might not be the best song ever, but at least people can feel it. And especially in that time, like, we all needed to be helped and uplifted. So I was like, oh, this is dope. And then I told my parents, because they're educators. So, like, school's very important. And I was like, guys, this is pretty interesting right here. And just kept writing songs and doing what I knew. And it kept going and going and going and growing. And then, ended up signing with management and didn't go back to school. And I had to tell my parents that. And it was like, yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. But like I said, I have this faith over fear thing is a real thing for me. It always has been. And I don't know, just prayer and just my family believed in me. They at first, of course, like full educator mode. They're going to be like, can you not do both?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want to do both. I don't really like school. So I just faith over fear, stepped in, started doing music. So it was wild.
Here we go. And now we've got Lasso. Tell us about this song.
Yeah, very exciting. So glad that this one dropped. I had an LA trip probably 3 or 4 months ago. With Jackson Foote and Jim Levine wrote this in like 30 minutes. And I knew we wanted to drop it like prime time right here. May 1. It's starting to feel like summer. It's hot outside. We're sweating. We're about to get on the water. We're about to be outside at festivals like we were at. I was like, this needs to go. So we wrote it, like I said, I think 30 minutes, and it was just like fun. You didn't have to think about it. So it was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
I'm going to play it for everybody right now,
Let's
all
go.
around the world on WSM. It's Jake Banfield with Lasso.
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
And Jake Banfield is sitting on the Assembly Food Hall stage, which, by the way, that wood is originally from the Ryman Auditorium, and it's the same wood that the Circle at the Opry is.
Wow.
I didn't tell you that.
That's
I forgot.
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What an honor.
So just flew in, did Live in the Vineyard Goes Country, and then hung out with Diplo at the Honky Tonk at Stagecoach, which is a vibe.
It was a
That's
blast.
Really good time.
Yeah.
So when you're playing to all of these different audiences, how do you know how to read the room quickly? Because those are two different settings. Like, you've got people who are sipping wine, and then you got people who are partying underneath a rhinestone cowboy
100%.
pant.
I can tell usually very quickly what vibes are, and I'll usually start with a like mid-tempo song.
Okay.
Where we're like sort of balladish, sort of partyish, and we're gonna see how we feeling, you guys. You like verse 1, verse 2, what are we feeling? And then second song, I usually got it. I'm like, okay, we might have to switch the set, but I got you. I'm reading you guys just fine right now.
We got to see what the barometric pressure in the room is.
100%.
That's cool. But that is a skill that I think a lot of people that haven't performed a lot have to really pick up on quickly, because it can go south really fast.
No doubt. I actually, whenever I played ball, I loved away games because people hated me in the crowd.
Okay.
And so I don't know why. I kind of had this, I'm not a very big guy, so like I was kind of underdog, and I just played better away from home whenever it was kind of uncomfortable and had to like talk to the fans. I loved doing that. So I feel like with the crowd, sometimes it's just strangers. You're like, I got to win you over. And I love doing that part.
It's an interesting dynamic, too, because, I mean, you referenced Hold Me earlier. That's almost like 6 million streams on Spotify. You add a few more million on other platforms, too. Yeah. So there have been people who've been with you for 5 years since that came out. And there have been people probably seen you 20, 30 times. But guaranteed, some people are seeing you for the very first time.
Totally.
So it's an interesting balance.
No,
there.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I try to play every show just like, this is the first time you're seeing me. Even if they come back and they've already been to one, I want to be better than the last time they saw me.
Well,
so.
and I heard somebody say this, and it's the most obvious statement, but until you think about it, you really don't grasp it. You can only see somebody for the first time once. You only get that one chance to make that first impression. Now, you might be able to change their impression later on, but sometimes that's hard to do. If they're going to be a fan, they're going to be a fan. You got them.
100%.
You know?
Yeah, you got to get them. You got to get them while you got them. So
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the world of co-writing. You talked about writing Lasso and that you went to California and had that co-write. How do you go from writing in your room during COVID by yourself to all of a sudden jumping into the world of co-writing? Because I think that is a very fascinating thing people don't quite understand.
No, I wrote all the beginning songs like I don't know how many, 30 maybe, just by myself. And then, yeah, had the opportunity. I ended up signing management with a group in LA at first. And I swear to you, my first 15, 20 co-writes were via Zoom, which was horrible. I am an energy person. I needed to be in a square foot with you and I can read vibes. Yep. No. So first 15 to 20 songs, like co-written, were over Zoom. And it was like so tough for me to try to learn. I was trying to just figure out what was going on and I couldn't read energy. We were through a screen and there was a delay. So anyways, point being, ended up coming to Nashville to write and I'm in a room with people and I'm like, oh, this is simple. This is so easy now. This is like right up my alley. So shout out to my team. Like I got into really good rooms early when I came to Nash and just some people that were just inspirational and I got to learn from. And like I said, just being a sponge and trying to figure out what's going on, how to write a better song, how to sing better, how to vocal, all of it. I'm just taking it in. So it was interesting though. I didn't know co-writing was really a thing and like it was normal. So once I got here, I was like, oh, this is incredible. Like these people are so good and we're all coming together and trying to make magic. So that's what it was. It was amazing though.
Well, and for a lot of creatives that are here, the thought of having a scheduled like at 10 a.m., we are going to be creative today in the room together and we're going to write something is daunting. But for somebody that comes from a sports background, you're probably like, yep, give me that schedule.
Right up my alley. Yeah. Everything is scheduled. Like I tell some people, I grew up to where if you're like 2 minutes late, the bus is going to leave you.
Sure.
And then you're running sprints, you're done. And so, yeah, there's like a discipline factor that definitely ties in. And then the teammate side where it's like, I need a team. I love a team. I grew up with a team. And that's what the co-writing was like. And I was like, oh, this is incredible. I love everything about this. So, yeah, it's been really good. It's been really good.
Shoot around is a sound check. That's the same thing. You know, essentially it's the same idea.
That's true.
Get used to the arena. It's exactly the same. You know,
That's so true.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna play something for us.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
So I'm gonna do this song called Hall of Fame.
Okay.
My mom is listening. I know there's moms listening as
Mom.
well. Yeah. So this song came out last Mother's Day, and like I said, we've been saying I grew up in a sports background, and I always wanted to write a song for Mom, but didn't want to force it, didn't want it to not feel right. So I tried 3 or 4 of them, and we ended up coming up with this one last year. And like, if you go to the top of the top in sports, whatever sport you make it to the Hall of Fame. You got a statue, you got pictures, it's a big deal. And I was thinking, I've always been a mama's boy, and I was just like, how do moms not have Hall of Fames? So start writing, bring the idea with Allison Veltz Cruz and Dan Muckala, and we're like, what if the Hall of Fame is just the house we grew up in? And like those inside those walls is the Hall of Fame. And I grew up in a town with 19 people, Stidham, Oklahoma, and it felt like we were in like the biggest city. Mom made it feel like we didn't want to leave. We knew there was bigger towns, but there was no reason to leave because it was perfect where we were. And that's what this song's about. Yeah, it's for all the moms out there. And we recorded a new version with like kind of violin, orchestra. It's really cool, and it's coming out this Mother's Day. So we'll have a cleaner new version, and it's exciting. Yeah, I told my manager, I said, if we can hit the jackpot here, you know Mariah Carey's got the Christmas song. I said, let's hit the Mother's Day song. That's right. That's right. So yeah, we're gonna do Hall of Fame.
All right, take it away.
All right, thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
That was so good.
What was it like to play that for your mom?
First time, she just started bawling. And
Did
then
you?
I sure did. I wasn't planning on it, but I looked up and she was bawling. So I was like, oh, I think we did this one. We did, this connects. So yeah.
That's the special thing about that is even if no one else ever heard it, the fact that you wrote it for her and she heard it.
That was it.
Come on.
That was it for me, and I surprised her on Mother's Day with it. She didn't know. She didn't know it was coming. Yeah.
Now, management would like millions of people to hear it.
Of course.
That's right.
And they will.
So that came up, and I said, Mom, you got to hear this song. And, oh, yeah, it's out everywhere right now. And she heard it, and we just started bawling, and it was a ball. Yeah. So my dad was like, when's Father's Day song? So I don't know yet, Dad. We're
You're
gonna
fine,
see.
Dad.
Yeah, we'll
You're
see.
good.
We'll see.
So what's next for you? You just had this whirlwind in California. Where are you going to next?
Yeah, so we are working on a project. Actually, just finished it, so I will have an album coming at the end of summer, and then we got this Hall of Fame song coming on Mother's Day, and another song, and yeah, then it's album time, and then going on the road. Not official tour dates yet, but we'll be out, and I'll be posting it all over my socials. So yeah, we'll be on the road and ready to see people at the end of summer, all fall, and probably doing some CMA Fest things as well. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time.
Well, you know where we are. Come see us when the record's out.
Yeah.
I'll do
absolutely.
it again. Thanks for having me, y'all.
So good to meet you.
I appreciate it. Great to meet you.
That's Jake Banfield right there on the Assembly Food Hall stage. We've got more right here on Coffee Country and Cody. Oh, Big and Rich coming to your city. They always have so much fun on stage.
I need me a Big Kenny hat.
Do you know that story? Do you know how they met?
Refresh my memory.
Okay. This is one of my favorites because the first time that I interviewed them, it was just Kenny by himself.
Okay.
John had to leave and do something. It was right when their debut album was coming out. And so Kenny said his whole thing when he was playing, he would be on stage and he would either have a jar of gum, like bubble gum, or a jar of candy. And at the end of the night, he would throw candy or bubble gum at everyone in the audience because he wanted them to leave with something. He's like, even if you didn't like me, you sat through my set, so here's
some
your
bazooka.
reward. And he would throw bubble gum, right? And he ended up hitting John Rich with a piece of gum. And John was like, dude, what are you doing?
All the people that
yeah. So it was one of those. I think John was there to hear him anyway.
Oh,
but
that's wild.
Yeah, that's how they became friends. And they became Big and Rich.
I had never heard that. That's a good story.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it'd be cool if they still had the bubble gum out there.
It really would be. I mean, that when you think about it, it's like you're in kindergarten for the class. Like, okay, if you will sit quietly and listen to my songs, I will give you a treat at the very end. And they did, and so they got bubble gum.
You know, at Opry Country Christmas, Santa comes through the crowd and tosses peppermints to the people.
He does. You're exactly right. Yeah. Well, welcome in everybody. Let's talk about entertainment headlines. I've been on the road. Just got back last night from Stagecoach. Big old festival on the West Coast. We had headliners like Zach Bryan first night, second night Jelly Roll, third night was Luke Combs. Everybody brought out special guests, but Jelly really went over the top with 9 special guests.
Like, how many songs did he get?
I don't know. Zach Bryan played an hour and 17 minutes longer than he was scheduled to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very
and
Eric
everyone
Church-like.
was like, what's happening?
Was he last?
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
no, because the way that he was the headliner, so he was the last main stage, and then the Palomino stage, which is a smaller stage and more open air, was kind of like the after party.
Oh, okay.
So that was like, Backstreet Boys.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, he just kept playing. And so there were a lot of things that were happening. All of our friends were there, people that you don't necessarily think of inside our genre. Lana Del Rey was a part of that. Wiz Khalifa got on stage and acted crazy and did Black and Yellow. Machine Gun Kelly was there. But Luke Combs, I feel like, just won over the crowd in the best way. So earlier in the night, he had Bailey Zimmerman come out. They have a song together. And then he had the boys of Good Charlotte come out and perform. But the closer, he brought out Garth Brooks. Everybody take a listen. So to close out his set, it's Garth Brooks doing Friends in Low Places with him on stage in front of about 100,000 people. I mean, that's pretty epic.
You mentioned how cool it got at night. Garth's got a heavy jacket on.
It was cold. It was cold, and the wind was really whipping around. Like I said, there were ladies that were dressed they had cute outfits on, but they were short skirts or, little vests or tank tops. They were wrapped in the thermal blankets you see the racers wrap in after a marathon. So there was a lot of Reynolds wrap people all walking around, and I was like, woo, some of us did not plan accordingly. So that was the last of Luke's set, but he wasn't ready to go home because you're at Stagecoach, so why not live it up? and the Backstreet Boys were playing just over on the Palomino stage. So Luke decided to pop in on their set. And here he is singing I Want It That Way. You can barely hear him because everyone in the crowd is going nuts. He walks out, high fives all the guys. Now, he shared with me that he was going to do this, right? So immediately I said, do you know the choreography? And he's like, well, no, I'm not doing any choreo. I'm only going to be out on stage singing with them. So he did.
He's got a few hand movements going at least.
Yeah. But I told him, I said, here's the thing. I was really honest. I said, Luke Combs. Luke, what's his middle name? Edward?
Albert.
Luke Albert. If you would do just a little bit of choreography.
They go crazy.
This crowd would lose their minds and you would be so viral. And he kind of looked at me like, maybe, but I don't think he had the time. Okay. He had a lot of other things on his mind. If he needs me, I'm available for private lessons. We can just work up a little something.
Now, was it the angle of the shot, or was he a foot and a half taller than everybody else in the band?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
He is taller than most of them. I don't think he's taller than Kevin. Kevin is the tallest one in Backstreet. And I will say, me interviewing Backstreet was for sure a highlight.
Really? I didn't know you got to visit with them.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And it was phenomenal.
Okay.
It was really fun. And I asked them point blank, are we getting a country album? And they said, well, not right now, but we do really love doing collaborations in country.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yes. So will we see more Backstreet and country? I don't know, but I'm here for it. Okay. Let's talk about this weekend. It's the Kentucky Derby, everybody. And this year, a special horse is running in the race. Toby Keith's horse. It's called Render Judgment, and it will be a part of this year's Kentucky Derby. Apparently, that was always Toby's dream. I had no idea that he had horses that were like thoroughbred horses. I mean, I knew he had, regular horses, but he's had several over the years. And this one in particular has made it to the Derby. One of the people in his team just said, this was Toby's dream. Render Judgment is going to be in the Kentucky Derby. He worked so hard to finally have one of those horses there. He'll have the best seat in the house watching from heaven. So if I was putting my money on a horse, I'm going to have to say it's that one.
He's at 30-1. He would pay well if he comes in the top three.
I'll put some money on him just for that. And there's a new flavor of Oreo that's coming to us, which we always get excited about. Everybody, this is a groundbreaker. It's chocolate-covered pretzel Oreos.
Oh, I do love the chocolate-covered pretzel.
I feel like all of us are on board with this. And they come out on Annie's birthday, May the 5th.
Cinco de
Mayo. We are getting brand new chocolate-flavored cream sandwiched between pretzel-flavored cookies topped with a little bit of salt. I need these.
I can do damage to a pretzel.
I mean, limited a dish.
Okay.
So it feels like you got to get your hands on them when you see them. But I think we're going to have to get some just in time for Annie and I to try.
If I lived in Philadelphia, I'd weigh 300 pounds. I eat pretzels every day I'm in Philadelphia. So.
Do you really?
The Philly pretzel is the best pretzel on the planet.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that's their thing. I mean, along with the cheesesteak.
I was going to say the cheesesteak.
No, the Philly pretzel is
I like it.
So crazy good.
Coffee, country, and Cody.
Here we are. Here we go. It is Tuesday. And welcome in. You are listening to Coffee, Country, and Cody on WSM. We are inside the Simply Superior studios here at the Acuff House, Opry Plaza. If you were listening earlier, we said there's a lot of activity happening out here. We were going to dig into it, use our investigative journalism skills. And basically that just means that Zach Bennett sent us a text and told us it's a private event happening later.
Yes. The hotel is one of the biggest conference hotels, convention hotels in the world. So there's big stuff happening there. So sometimes they get the Opry House in the morning. Sometimes they do evening shows as well. So, a lot of fun.
We'll have to wander out, just kind of be nosy.
Yeah. I didn't see like an open bar or anything,
never mind. We're not interested. Immediately. Just whatever. Welcome in, everybody. Happy to be back. I was gone for a few days. Annie and I was gone for a few days. Bill was gone, and Bill's out on vacation.
Bill is gone. Yeah,
he's on vacation.
It's all duly noted, by the way, that I was left here by myself.
By yourself yesterday, completely solo.
Yeah.
You loved it.
I did. I have to tell you, it was. Yeah, it's been a few years since I've been all by myself. Oh, It was nice.
What all did you play? Did you do the Only Child anthem?
We opened the show with the Only Child anthem.
you.
Absolutely. I want to
Good.
talk about me, the great Toby Keith, who I know you've got coming up in
Sure.
entertainment this
Yeah.
hour. But Drew and Ellie Holcomb, who I just love. They're
Yes.
just the coolest people. They're doing back-to-back nights at the Ryman, so they came in. And then I got to hang out for an hour with Kathy Mattea and just play some of her favorite songs and have her tell stories. It was just delightful.
I see.
It was delightful.
So you didn't miss me at all. Okay.
I missed you last Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I did not miss you so much yesterday.
That's good to know. It's fine.
Yes, Jeff
It's
Roberts
fine.
also abandoned us too. Now, granted, he had a baby, so I mean, we cut him some slack.
Annie was drinking wine in Napa. I was partying at Stagecoach, and Jeff was changing diapers. So one of us got the short end of the stick on that one. But yeah, he does have a cute baby.
He's a cool baby.
Oh, so
Yeah,
sweet.
yes.
All right, well, let's talk about what was happening at Stagecoach. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, country music festival of the summer, especially on the West Coast. It's absolutely the biggest on the West Coast. 80 to 100,000 people is a good guesstimate of how many people came out for that. And when we say all day, multiple stages, it's like Bonnaroo in the fact that you have the Palomino stage, you have Diplo's Honky Tonk, which is like the after hours bar scene, which is real fun. You have, I think there are two other smaller stages. There's a Bud Light stage that was there, but then they have the huge, big main stage, and that's where we got to see Ashley McBride, and we got to see, who else was there that was earlier? Shabuzi was on that main stage. And it is fun to watch people graduate. Connor Smith made his main stage debut after doing the smaller stages for a couple years.
You were hanging out with Carly Pierce for a little while, I saw.
Carly Pierce was on the main stage.
The engineering it takes to have multiple stages going at the same time and not have the bleed over, like the angle of sound fascinates me that they can do that. And they do it brilliantly because there is no bleed over, but you would think there would have to be.
Well, it's such a big space too. Like from one end of this facility, like the main stage, to the opposite end, you would be in a golf cart riding for a good probably 8-9 minutes before you'd ever get to the other edge.
Oh, wow.
So that gives you any indication. It's a huge footprint.
Well, you would be in the golf cart. I would have to walk.
Yes, you
probably.
would. That's
Yes.
correct.
Okay. Yes.
But so very much fun. If you want to watch it all, you can go back and see it on Prime Video. That's where it was. So if you have Amazon Prime, you get Prime Video for free, and you can go and watch some of the highlights that are up. But Stagecoach wrap up, just to give you an idea, headliners, we had Zach Bryan the first night, Jelly Roll the second night, and Luke Combs the third night. Jelly had 9 different people come out with him. I got out of set where I was doing interviews just in time to catch Wiz Khalifa come out with him. And that was exactly what you think it was. Crazy and fun. And then Luke Combs closing down the night. And he had a lot of special guests too. Bailey Zimmerman came out first. Then he brought out the Boys of Good Charlotte. But he wrapped it up with a visit from Garth Brooks. Take a look. There's Garth on stage doing Friends in Low Places with Luke Combs. And I forgot to tell you, at the very end, when they're clapping and it's like the very end of it, and Luke is like, Garth Brooks, everybody. Garth said, future Hall of Famer, Luke Combs. And I was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, we all probably know that's going to happen at some point, but saying it out loud and like christening him with that, I thought that was pretty cool. That was a really
He
good
knows.
moment. He knows. Garth knows. He sees the future, Garth
I think
does.
he's married to a future Hall of Famer as well.
Oh, yes, he is. Absolutely. So, yeah, that was a really, really special night. And then, you know, Luke is still buzzing. He's still on a high. He's like, I just got off stage with Garth Brooks, and he just called me a future Hall of Famer. I'm going to go party with the Backstreet Boys. So Backstreet was there. They had an incredible setup. And I think some of the images that were happening behind them are going to be the ones they use at the Sphere. Because they are doing their residency at the Sphere. And they are releasing Millennium 2.0 that's coming out in June. And when they started their show, the graphics that were happening behind them were crazy. And Amber Anderson and I were talking. She goes, I bet they're going to use some of that at the Sphere. So here's what it looked like when Luke Combs came out on stage to do I Want It That Way. When he finally got into the light and people realized it was him, they were losing their minds.
There's a lot of people singing along, too.
Oh. The entire set, people were singing along because it was all your favorite Backstreet songs. Now, Luke did not do choreography.
How long do you think the list is of my favorite Backstreet Boys songs?
I wasn't speaking to you. I was speaking to me and my friends and my generation that grew up listening to those songs. We have a long list, Charlie,
I'm
just
sure.
to let you know.
I don't doubt it.
So,
yes.
but it was really fun to watch. And do you realize Backstreet started this whole little let's do the genre kind of collab?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't say started it, but they were definitely early on. They did the song with Florida Georgia Line, God, Your Mama and Me, and it went to #1. So Backstreet technically has had a #1 hit on country radio. Mm-hmm. And they made sure to point that out to me. When we were talking, they were like, well, we have had a #1 hit in country. And I was like, oh, you're right. Mm-hmm. You have. So more crossovers to come from all of them. Okay. This coming weekend, just to let you know, if you're watching the Kentucky Derby, there might be one favorite that you have in your heart. And that would be Toby Keith's horse. Render Judgment has made it in to the final lineup for the Kentucky Derby happening this Saturday. Once that was all released, his team came out and said this was Toby's dream. Render Judgment is going to be in the Kentucky Derby, and Toby worked so hard. He finally has one in there. Isn't that cool? I'll be putting my money on that one.
How much you going to put?
I don't know, $10 maybe?
Well, you win 300.
Is that what that was?
It's 30 to 1. Yeah.
Maybe
So
I
if you
should
put
both.
1,000, look at that.
I mean, that's a really good.
Yeah.
This is what I know about. This is what I know about betting on horses. I've only done it at Keeneland.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was like,
Keeneland is Lexington, Kentucky,
yes.
right? Okay.
I was like, I don't know. That one's pretty. I like the color of this silk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bet money on that guy. And then I walked up to the guy and I go, I like this horse. And he was like, okay. And I said, here's my money. I don't know what I did. I don't know if I did win, place, show. I don't know if I did a trifecta. I don't understand any of that. But I won. So I was very happy with it.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend.
Trifecta is when you pick the horses that finish first, second, and third.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Didn't do that. I just said that one.
Okay. All right. Did you win
I liked
anything?
that one. I did.
Oh, okay.
I won. And then I went back and I bet and I lost. But that's what it's all about.
That's
right?
how it is, yeah.
It was a fun night. So anyway, those are what the headlines are for today. Making entertainment headlines for us this morning. You said future Hall of Famer. Absolutely. Here she is, Miss Trisha Yearwood with I Would Have Loved You Anyway. You're listening to us this morning on Coffee Country. I'm Cody. This is WSM. Still more to come. Don't go away.